Hi everyone, this is Kazi and today we will be making this UI which is made by Kevin. He's a great teacher and he made it with Flow CSS, but I'll be trying my hands on with Tailwind CSS. Let's see how it goes. So let's create the project. I'm using my own custom build scaffolder. If you want to know how I built it, I can make a separate video about it if you want. Okay, so essentially what it's using is the parcel implementation of Tailwind CSS. I've pretty much followed the same. That's what the scaffolder uses under the hood. And it's pretty basic, as you can see. Let's get into the project and see how it's done. All right, let's cd into the project, open it up, and let's go through the project now. Now if we look at the package.json, we are using parcel, as I mentioned, the dev command to run it. We are using post css, prettier, tailwind, and prettier plugin for Tailwind, which is nothing but that sorts the classes. All right, the post css plugin I've also added there, and source folder is pretty basic, simple css file, blank html body, css that has been added. We are using Montserrat font and I've added it via the font display over here, which is coming from Tailwind CSS config file. I've extended it to add that font. I've also added the content where to find the Tailwind classes so that it can purge the unused classes, and that's pretty much that. Now just run the command to start the application. As you can see, it already started, and that is how it looks. Let's try. I'm adding a simple hello to try first. If that works, right away it shows up there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is center this entire content, and in order to do that, let's apply some background, and I'm going to do bg slate 200. That's about right, and also flex it and item center and justify content center. We need to actually give it some height, and I'm going to make it screen height so that it gets to the center, as you can see. And after that, what I'm going to do is give it some overflow hidden so that our card doesn't get overflown in some reason. Okay, let me remove that, and so basically our card will start here, and after that we can do our card. Let's create a div with max with md, and of course there is no content, that's why it doesn't show up here. If I do some content inside, and it shows up. Yep. All right, so I'm going to give it white background and some rounded corners. Let's do with rounded to XL. That's a bit too much. XL is just fine. And let's remove the content, give it some height just to see how it looks. 864. Again, there is no width of that content, so that's why it doesn't show up. So writing down hello again just to see that yes, the height is being taken up. I'm going to add some width just for the demo. We are going to remove them after a bit. Going to give some shadow, so as you can see, nice shadow. Now we can remove our width and start working on the content. First up, the image. So there is no asset, so let me pull it up and come back. So here is the banner that we are going to use, so just include that in the image. And let's remove the width now. So as you can see, the image takes up the entire width, which is the card. So I don't have the original assets, so we are going to use this custom one that I found. So let's go with that. So I'm going to put some padding because this one doesn't look right without padding. So padding 6 is just about right. Maybe padding 8. Yep, that sounds perfect. Let's now make the content. That's look, div. So div order summary h3. Now there is a paragraph. So paragraph content, you can listen to millions of songs, audio books, and podcasts. Let me word wrap so that it looks all right, and on any device that you like, etc. That's the paragraph. After that, there is another section, that's a div, another div for the icon, which I don't have right now, so I'm just putting icon there, and another div for the annual plan, h4 annual plan, and there is a span for the amount, $59.99 per year. And all right, and then finally there is a button to change the plan, I suppose. So there that is. It looks pretty basic, but we are going to style it with Tailwind in a minute. So let's do that. So outside of that entire section, we have our main buttons, call to action buttons, proceed to payment, and another button for the cancel order. And yep, they look about as basic as possible, pretty bare bone. We are going to style it now. The initial div, I think I put it in the wrong place. Okay, let's move it inside. All right, let's go ahead with the style. Again, flex column. Let's give it a gap of 8. That looks all right. And okay, that's something is wrong. Let me check. I think we need to put the buttons outside of this div, inside. Yep, that's about right. Now it looks perfect. All right. So gap of 6 is right for this one. Give it some padding, same as the above image, and also center the entire content of that card. Paragraph, let's put text center so that the paragraph text gets centered. As you can see, this looks pretty neat. Okay, order summary, maybe text, Excel, or font bold, of course, to give it some bold fonts. Maybe 2XL would be the correct. Yep, looks pretty similar to the design. All right, maybe the text doesn't look right, but all right, text small for the paragraph, and text color to slate, similar to the heading there. Text slate, maybe 700. That does look about right. And after that, let's do the inner section and give it some padding to the paragraph. Now finally the inner card, that is a flex, and item center, padding, let's go with 4. There is some background, if I remember, background slate, maybe 100. that's a bit too dark, so I think we'll go with 50. Yep, that's about all right. Rounded corners, same rounded LG. What else? I think let's close the sidebar. All right, so the icon section has a background of slate 100 and some padding 4 and full rounded corners, rounded full. That is going to give it complete circle. We are going to replace the icon later. I think 200 is a bit close to the design. So let's also give it a gap of 4 so they are little spread out, and give it full width, otherwise it is taking only the center portion. Yep, that now looks perfectly all right. And finally the change button, give it auto margin left so that it pushes to the far right. And let's do the annual plan, bold, and the amount, which is about text small, and of course text color needs to be a little muted, similar on the annual plan, little too black for my taste. Let's go down to the 700 looks about all right. Let's change the color and the size of the change button. So color text SM, blue 700, and maybe bold. Yeah, font bold, semi-bold. Semi-bold looks about all right. And finally, some underline and underline offset basically pushes down the underline. And of course, in hover, we don't want any underline. Now that looks about all right. Let's do the primary button. Primary button is with full and some rounded corners, rounded LG, and background blue. Let's go with blue 800 and text white, of course. That and padding of 3. Blue is little too harsh. 700 looks just about right. And finally we have font bold, text small. Yep, that's pretty close, not exactly, but I don't have the original colors as well, not bothering about that. Okay, so in hover we need to actually give it some other color, maybe 600. So when you hover, it changes color, and of course a shadow in that button. So shadow LG and shadow color, I need to give it some colored shadow. That looks pretty nice in my opinion. Maybe 30% of opacity of 700 or maybe 800. Yep, that's perfect. Maybe shadow could be XL. Yep, that's awesome as we can see. All right, let's do the cancel button. Same with full rounded corners, text small, font bold, maybe semi bold. Let's do the same for the other button. Yep, semi bold looks perfect for these actually. Yep, let's go with semi bold now. Next we have text slate. Of course, we don't want to give it full black. Text slate 600, and when we hover, we want to change it to little darker. So when you hover, you see it's getting little dark. Yeah, it's pretty close to the design, but we see there is a gap, little more gap than the default gap. So let's give it some margin top of 4, and same on the cancel button. Yeah, now it looks spread out and perfect. I think we are good here. Let's do the hover on the button to scale. This is a neat trick. These two classes will give it some awesome looking animation that you can see when you hover. When you hover, you scale and basically transform, transition. These two classes are one of my favorites. Similar, let's give it there as well. So as you can see, when you hover, it enlarges, and quite nice animation there. Now let me replace the icon with an SVG. As you can see, I have already styled the SVG. I have pasted it from there. Give it some padding. So when we test the focus, you see the cancel button doesn't look alright when we test the tab focus. Let's also give it some padding. Now the space looks weird. Let me remove that. Now it appears perfectly. Alright then, I guess the focus looks alright. I might just give it to focus as well, because focus should also do the same thing as hover for the primary button, same for the secondary button. So that, copy it, paste, and change it to focus. And after that, I think focus, as you can see, is also responding with the scale effect. I'm going to give it outline none, so that when you focus, there is no weird artifacts. Yeah, that is looking perfect. Also, don't forget the focus on the change button. So yeah, focus now works beautifully. I think that's about it. So this is the final version. Hope you liked the video. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and also share it with your friends, and comment down below what you want to see in the future. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.